So basically, what we did, we covered a lot of the grammar from the past, and I think, inshallah, we'll do that today again. Initially, so so the last that we had talked about was the muzaf and muzaf ilayh. I think we went over the examples from Quran, and we finished that. Inshallah, we'll start today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. If you look at the slides, the discussions that we will cover in the next half hour before we turn over to our course book, these are the topics. Very important in Arabic, like any other language, the gender, description, and the usage of gender, masculine and feminine in appropriate way is very, very important. And especially in Arabic because, there's, for every word, you have to make sure that you use the appropriate gender, appropriate, badal, which is the substitute or adjective or adverb for whatever that means. Therefore, when it comes to even ismul mawsul, the relative pronoun, all of these have to be in line whenever your sentence begins. For example, if you're using a jumla ismiya, the nominative sentence, mubtada and khabar, it has to be always in line. So inshallah, we'll go through gender introduction quickly. So they're all nouns in Arabic are either going to be masculine or feminine. That's the case with every language there is. In particular, that there are a lot of words that you can make the feminine of it. So the original word may be masculine, but there's a formula to go ahead and convert that into feminine as well. And that's not a very difficult formula, as you will look at it from here. Usually, masculine noun can be changed into feminine by adding a round ta. So there are two types of ta'as in Arabic. One is the long ta, which is ta tawila, and the other one is the round ta, which is called ta marbuta. So the regular ta that we have in Urdu or in Farsi, you also have that in Arabic as an alphabet. It's called ta tawila. And you know why it's called tawila, right? Because it's long. That's why it's named that way. The other one is the round ta. It's called ta marbuta. Marbuta is because it's wrapped around, right? It's round. That's why it's called that. And therefore, by adding this ta marbuta towards the end, or the closed ta, as they have mentioned it, you can make a word, a noun into, which was masculine before, into a feminine. So the examples that they have given you is mudarrisun is a teacher who's masculine. Right away, you want to make a female teacher you want to talk about, so you'll say mudarrisatun. So by adding this ta, the closed ta al marbuta at the end, you have made it into a feminine. Similarly, talib, talibun is a student. Now you want to make a talibatun by making it a feminine. Obviously, all of these go into the dual form of it, which is called the muthanna, and the plural form of it. So are you going to be making the masculine and feminine when they go into the plural form of it? You won't. So for example, talib is the singular, right? Means one student. The plural is tullab, right? Plural is tullab. That means students. Now you don't have to make the feminine of tullab, because when you're referring to a group of crowd, it could be mixed, and therefore this will refer to all masculine and feminine in it. But yes, talib is male. Yeah, talibatun will be female. Putting a fatha on the letter before the ta. So it was talibun originally. Now you want to make it into a feminine. So talibun. So what you have it on the ba, you have the tanween. Now you want to add a ta at the end. So this tanween will carry over to the ta. right? Because that's the last word now. That's the last letter. Now, when that happens, this ba has no harakat. You can't read it, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to add an imaginary fatha right here. Talibatun. And that'll be the standard formula for all of the nouns. So mudarrisun, you got seen with the tanween on it, you give it to the ta at the end, seen is now empty. So you put a fatha on it, mudarrisatun, and that's how it will be. So these are the only two things that you need to remember by adding a ta at the end, which is the round or the closed ta, and by adding a fatha at the letter before the ta. And that's how you make into a feminine. So let's give it some examples. Khalidun. How do you make a feminine of it? What's the feminine of it? Khalidatun, right? For example, you have a lot of these names that you have in Urdu and in Farsi that, used by male and female. And you just add a ta at the end. Ridwanun, Ridwanatun, masalan, right? Rayhanun, Rayhanatun, masalan. All of these are different examples of masculine and feminine. It says the two feminine nouns with the long ta, or ta al-maftuha, as they call it, with ta al-maftuha end. So you have ibnun, right? Ibnun. Ibnun is a boy. Now you want to make the feminine of it. It'll be bintun. Right? Or akhun, for example, means a brother. Right? It would be ukhtun. Like that. So the two feminine nouns, these are normally used that way, so you don't really need to make it into that. That's how it is. And that's that they're there. They said not all feminine nouns have a ta or the ta ending. So for example, you'll say, well, if ukhtun has a ta at the end, if bintun has a ta at the end, ab means father, that means ummatun, will the mother have a ta at the end as well? It says no, not necessarily. You have abun, which is the father, but ummun, which is a mother. You don't need to add a ta because the word refers to a mother and it's understood that way. So you won't need to say ummatun, for example. Similarly, you can't tell, but the word shams, which is for the sun, is feminine. And we say, well, there isn't any alamat. I don't see a ta at the end of it. Usually ta gives it away when it comes to the words, like sayyaratun, a car. How do you know that sayyaratun is a feminine? Because of the ta at the end. Shams doesn't have any signs that tells me that it is a feminine. But it is because that's how the Arabs used it. Not just the Arabs used it, but in Quran also, when you read وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا, it didn't say وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهُ. It used the ha pronoun for the shams, which is the feminine pronoun. So that's how you tell the shams is what? It's feminine. And then there are other means to make other forms, conjugations of shams that will also tell you. One of the conjugations that you can bring the shams into is what is called tasghir. Tasghir is when you belittle something. Literally means belittling something. For example, the word is Hasan, right? What is the smaller version of Hasan? Hasanun. Hussein. Right? Hussein. Tifl, which means a child, right? Tiflun. What is the smaller tifl? Tufail. Anyone named Tufail? All right, it's a name. So that's how you make tasghir. So when you have shams, when you make there isn't any smaller sun, but whenever you have to refer to a small sun, this is the sun, but there are other smaller suns, for example. It'll be Shumaisa. Shumaisatun. So this ta will come up. And that's another indication that how it is originally a feminine and not a masculine. Not all nouns ending with the ta or the ta are feminine. That is also true. So don't think that any word that has a ta at the end or the round ta at the end is automatically what? Feminine. No, that's not the case. The word Hamza. Hamza refers to male men. Baytun, house, is not feminine. Bayt is masculine. But although it has a ta at the end. So it's confusing, yes. How do you figure this out? How do you figure that out? So there are always exceptions to the law. But the easiest way of making a masculine into a feminine is by adding a ta at the end of it. Like you did at the end of talib, you made it into talibatun, and mudarris, you made it into mudarrisatun. So, feminine, and therefore you will have the ismul ishara, right? The demonstrative nouns. When you demonstrate this or that, in Arabic, in English, you can say, well, this girl and this boy. You don't have to differentiate between boy and a girl when you're saying this. You said that girl and that boy. You don't have to differentiate between. But in Arabic, that's how demonstrative it is. That's how explanatory it is, that you have to go ahead and change the demonstrative noun according to the person that you're calling. So it will either be hadha or hadhihi. You say hadha al-walad, hadhihi bint, masalan. So you can say hadha bint. No, that will be wrong. Both have to be in conformity. So hadha is for mudhakkar and hadhihi for muannas. And therefore, for far away, that, so we had hadha and dhalika. Hadhihi and tilka. That's why in Quran, the third supara or the third juz of Quran begins with this ayat. As I said, you don't have to make the feminine of a plural. So you have the word Rasul, right? What is Rasul? Is it a masculine or feminine? Masculine. So you would say Hada Rasul. Hada Rasulun, masalan. If you wanted to make it into a feminine, if there was a female Rasul, masalan, Hada Rasulatun, masalan, right? You will add a ta at the end. But you want to make a plural of Rasul, it's Rusul. Rusul. On the wazn of Fu'ul, it's Rusul. Rusulun. Now, when you want to use the word Rusul, which is the plural of Rasul, on there we had the concept of Talib. The plural was what? Tullab, right? Tullabun. Now, if you wanted to call upon the Tullab, all of these male and female students, and you wanted to point at them, these students, for example, how are you going to demonstrate? What demonstrative noun are you going to use? You're going to use a feminine noun with it. You're going to say either hadhihi or you're going to say tilka. You're going to say hadha tullab or you're going to say dhalika tullab. You're going to say hadhihi tullab wa tilka tullab, because this is already demanding a feminine demonstrative noun with it. But it could be that it's all male boys there. It is possible. It is possible that they're all mixed together. But nonetheless, you'll use hadhihi and tilka. Now with that said, I'll give you an example from Quran. The third juz of Quran begins with this ayat. Tilka ar-rusul. Tilka ar-rusul. Right? That's how it starts, right? Tilka ar-rusul. Tilka ar-rusulu. Tilka means these or those, right? Those prophets. Those prophets. So this is the plural. Now, are there any female prophets? No, they're all male. But still, the feminine demonstrative noun is used for them. Tilka rusulu faddalna ba'duhum ala ba'd. These are the prophets that we have given some of them ranks over the other. So that holds out true. So when you are using the singular form, you're going to keep with male, female with female. But when you go into the plural form of it, you're going to use the female. So you have tilka sayyaratun, that is a car. Hazi is pronounced as hazi, we already know that one. This is a watch, hadihi sa'atun. Because sa'a is feminine. It could be, you can see by the ta at the end. Now, gender of the body members. So, you have the eyes, you have the ears, you have the hands, you have the legs, you have the nose, you have the mouth, you have the face, you have the ear, all of these. How do you know which one is masculine and which one is feminine? Very easy. Those parts which are single are masculine. Those parts which are two are usually feminine. So you only have one head, so it's going to be masculine. Anf, which is for nose, fam, which is for mouth, wajh, which is for face. Double members are usually feminine. So you have two hands, two eyes, two legs, and two ears. So hadihi, masalan, or haulai, or however you want to point out towards them, or you're pointing towards them. So that's easy for you to just go back and think, okay, it's one only, so therefore it's going to be hada or hadihi. Gender of mubtada and khabar must be the same. So as I said, in Arabic it is very important that we keep the gender intact everywhere. So the mubtada and khabar was our simple nominative sentence, jumla ismiya. For example, I wanted to say, masalan, the example that they have given. Muhammadun talibun. Muhammad is a student, right? So Muhammad is your mubtada, is your predicate. Talib is the khabar. If I just say Muhammad, you're like, okay, I'm waiting for the sentence to complete. So I said talibun. Okay, now it's a complete sentence. That you're telling me that Muhammad is a student. Now make sure that Muhammad, you know already by the name that it is masculine. Therefore, the word talib will be masculine as well. If I say Hamzatu, Hamza, what is it going to be? Talibun or talibatun? Talibatun? Talibun, right? I tricked you there. Because Hamza is for male. It's a masculine name. We already know that is the case when it comes to Hamza. And so you go on and on. Fatima, on the other hand, which is mu'annas, you're going to use talibatun. As-sayyaratu jadidatun. Hadihi dajajatun. This is a chicken. Tilka nafidatun. That is a window. Dhalika babun. That is a door. Hada dikun. That is, or this is a rooster or a hen. Al-kitabu jadidun. The book is new. So you can see how they have used appropriate genders in the nominal sentence. Nothing new here. Again, they're just telling you how it is used, but they're introducing a new concept. This new concept is called badal. In Arabic, you have this thing which is called the substitute. So sometimes you don't want to use the word itself, so you use the substitute for it. And that's called badal. So, for example, you wanted to say, al-baytu jadidun. The house is new. Now, you don't want to keep repeating the word al-bayt, al-bayt, al-bayt. You're going to replace it with a badal, a substitute. What is going to be the appropriate substitute for al-bayt? Hada. Because al-bayt is masculine. So, al-baytu jadidun, hada jadidun. And then this house is new. If you wanted to say that, you say hadal baytu jadidun. You could have just said hada jadidun and I would have understood. But you said no, hadal baytu jadidun. This house. So you use both of them. Now this and the house are the same thing, isn't it? You're pointing at it. This chair, this desk, they're both the same. This word and the desk itself are same. So you're substituting for it. And therefore, when you're substituting, the substitute, badal, is a definite noun because you're pointing at it, obviously. That's why it's ismun ma'rifa. Following a demonstrative pronoun, which is ismul ishara. So, hadal baytu jadidun. And therefore, whatever the i'rab of the word hada is going to be on al-bayt as well. Whatever is the characteristic, masculine or feminine, the word hada or hadihi has, That's what's going to be with the bait as well. It will be jadidatun. Yeah. For example, if you were talking about هذه نافذة هذه النافذة جديدة. This window is هذه السيارة جديدة. Yeah. هذه भी आ गया वहाँ पे और सैयारा जो है वो feminine है already. Next is adverbs or zarf. Zarf makan and zarf zaman. So in Arabic, just like in English or any other language, you have these, so you have these zuruf, which we call them. Zarf is a noun that indicates the place or time. So time and space. Basically, this is the discussion here. Zarf acts as a mudaf, so it will come before the word, and it will what? It will add on to that mudaf ilayh, and it will be a possessor. And you'll learn with the examples of how it is going to work. Zarf can never be mubtada, subject, but even if the sentence starts with it. So examples of adverb of place. Zarful makan. You can only think of 4 possible, right? Top, bottom, right, and left. So, or front or back, top and bottom. These are the 4 that you have. So that which is on top, which is fawqa. That which is underneath is tahta. That which is front of you is amama. See how it uses the word imam? Imam who stands in front. So amam is in your front. And wara, or rather they use the word khalf. So there are 2 words that are used for it. Khalf. You also know the word khalifa, right? Khalifa literally means that who comes after. So Allah sends a khalifa. Khalifa came after. So that's how the word is derived, behind. So these are commonly used. Fawqa, amama, khalfa, and tahta. You also notice one thing. What is common between these 4 words? Let me see if you notice it. Look at their ending. So, fatha. So it's fawqa, it's amama, it's tahta, and it's khalfa. Because when it comes as a zarf, it is possible that this word may come as non-zarf when it is not being used for time or space, right? Or rather, in this question, space. It's a place. When it's used as zarf, as the place, then it'll always be carrying a fatha. That's one of the indications that it is being used as zarf makan, a place. So therefore, it will carry the fatha. Also, you have these other ones. Huna means here. Hunaka means there. Baina, between. Qurba, near. So the word huna is used a lot in Arabic. You want to call someone, ta'al huna, come here. Right? Ru hunak, go over there. Or sit over there, masalan. Ijlis hunak. All of these are used in Arabic to demonstrate it. Baina yaday, between the hands, right? When you say, ayat of Quran, Surah Hujurat begins, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, la tuqaddimu bayna yadayillah wa rasulih. O those who believe, do not venture ahead of Allah and His Prophet. Or we have this pen in our hands, bayna yaday. Or we have this book, Quran, between us, bayna yaday. That's usually is the way to demonstrate, between us, amongst us. And qurba is telling you, has something to do with qareeb, that which is near you. Then you have the examples of zarf zaman. These are obviously going to be that you have throughout the day. So you have the morning, you have the afternoon, you have the evening, you have the night. Laylan, sabahan, there should have been an alif there. Zuhran, masa'an, ghadan, which is tomorrow. Al-yawma, today. Amsi, yesterday. Or al-ams, You could use al-ams as well, which means yesterday. So ams, usually these are the classical Arabic that we're using. You won't hear many of these words used in colloquial language. So nobody will say, I went to masjid yesterday in this way. ذهبت إلى المسجد الأمس. Now this is a common way of saying, ذهبت, I went, al-masjid, to the mosque, al-ams, yesterday, the day before. But usually they will use another colloquial word for it. Imbareh, that's how they say it. But we're not studying. Or tomorrow, they won't say gadan. They use it sometime, but they'll say bukra. I'll see you bukra, masalan. They will say gadan. But the other ones, laylan or sabahan or zuhran or masan, those are commonly used to define the different times of the day. So evening time, the noon time, the morning time, and the night time. Again, you see that they're also they all have fatha, right? That is also an indication that when you use these words, they will be demonstrating, this fatha demonstrates that they're being used as zarf, as an adverb. But if they're not being used as an adverb, then it may not carry the fatha. But usually when it's carrying, for example, when you say gadan, gadan will always be gadan. There's no gadun or gadin. It'll always be gadan. That's how it is, mabni, or built in that rather. The usage of it will come in the next ayat, by which you will understand how it acts like a mudaf. And mudaf ilay, that which is possessing it. So there you go. These are some of the examples from Quran. الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَصَدُّوا عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ زِدْنَاهُمْ عَذَابًا فَوْقَ الْعَذَابِ. So the word azab that came after the word fawqa, which is zarf makan, for something which is above, is going to do what? Is going to go ahead and give kasra to the word that comes afterwards. That is the characteristic of muzaf and muzaf ilayh. If you remember, that the possessor right away gives what? Gives kasra to the next word that comes. So it won't be fawqa al-adhabo. That will be wrong. It will be fawqa al-adhabi. The kasra on adhab is because of the word fawqa. We will increase them in punishment over their punishment. Fawqa over here is referring to that. Whatever they were giving, we'll give them even more. Fawqa adhab. That azab which was given to them, no, we'll give more azab. It says, لَقَدْ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, that Allah is indeed pleased with the believers. إِذْ يُبَايِعُونَكَ, when they swore allegiance, تَحْتَ الشَّجَرَةِ, underneath the tree. So the point here to be noticed is shajarate, that it is getting a kasra because it is being possessed by tahta. Tahta is possessing it. And therefore the word shajara becomes mudaf ilayh, which is being possessed. وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ. Although qabla is also example there. Qabla means before. وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, and the day of judgment. See the word qiyamati, right, is being possessed by yawma. Qabla mawtihi is also being possessed by qabla right there. Ghadan does not act that way, it just ends with it. La taqulanna li shay'in inni fa'ilun dhalika ghadan. This is for those who are procrastinators. This is a perfect ayah for those who procrastinate. He said, and never say of anything, indeed I will do it tomorrow. Except when adding, inshallah. Except by saying, if Allah wills. But obviously in our communities, when you say inshallah, that means you're never going to do that thing. All right? And remember when your Lord, when you forget it, because it is possible that you say, well, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. But if you keep Lord in your mind, then you will not forget that action either. Say, inshallah, I will do it. There will be a reminder that will come to you, so you'll be able to perform it. But never say for anything, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Kullun amana billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi la nufarriqu bayna ahadin. All of them believed in Allah, His angels, His books, and His messengers. And we do not distinguish between any of the messengers. Now, two questions. This is not Arabic related. So, it says, La nufarriqu bayna ahadin. Bayna means between, right? We learned that in the previous slide, if you remember. Bayna was between. Bayna ahadin. Bayna becomes the mudaf, and ahadin becomes mudaf ilay. That's why ahad is being possessed by bayna. Now, the word ahad is substitute for who? The last one. La nufarraqu bayna ahadin. Bayna ahadin minhum. Ahad is substitute for the messengers. If you read the translation, right, it does not. It says that we make no distinction between any of them, any of the Rasul. Now, aren't Rasul have distinctions? Is every Rasul equal to Prophet Muhammad? Is Prophet Nuh equal to, I don't know, Prophet Adam? Prophet Ibrahim equal to, I don't know, Prophet Yaqub? They're darajat, right? They're different. So why is Allah saying that we don't differentiate between them? When you see that Ibrahim is at a place, he's Khalilullah. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is the place, he's, Kalimullah. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is the place, he's a Ruhullah. Nuh is Nabiullah, and the Holy Prophet is Habibullah, right? So, why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that we do not differentiate between them? When it comes to things which are common, that means when it comes to their ihtaram, there's no differentiation between them. It's not like you do ihtaram to one more than you do to less. So Nabi Adam, you're going to show less ihtaram, but to Nabi Musa, you'll show more ihtaram. No. When it comes to their obedience, you'll keep the same level of, so we do not distinguish and differentiate between them when it comes to their ihtaram, when it comes to their obedience. But there are ranks of different anbiya, because some of them were Nabi, they only brought the news. Some of them were Rasul, alongside with being Nabi. Those who were Rasul, some of them were Sahib Shariat. They had books with them, right? Not all Rasul had books, but some of them had books. Hazrat Musa had a book, Hazrat Dawood had a book, Hazrat Isa had a book, the Prophet, Holy Prophet had a book. And then some of them are Nabi, Rasul, Sahib Shariat, but only 5 of them are Ulul Azm. So that also distinguishes. And amongst all of those who are, Ulul Azm, there's only one who's Khatimul Anbiya. So he is superior above all of them. That's why when I wrote that ayah, Tilkar Rusul, it begins with what? Tilkar Rusul. These are, or those, however you want to translate it, those are the prophets. فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. فَضَّلْنَا بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. That means what? That means we gave fazilat to some of them over others. That means what? Not all of them are equal in that reference. So when you read this, La nufarriqu bayna ahadin, and you read that ayat, Tilka Rasul, you say, well, there's a discord or some sort of confrontation in Quran. No, there's no contradiction. That's how you explain it. So this is as far as zarf is concerned. Next is adjective. It is called na'at. We do na'at Rasul, right? Na'at, or it is also called sifat. So you have 2 words, na'at or sifat. So you have man'ut, which is being praised, or mawsuf, which is being praised. So that individual or that thing which you are praising, that's adjective. You say, well, chair, strong chair, right? So when you say strong, that's an adjective for this chair. Phone, white phone. That's an adjective that you've added for that phone. Something which distinguishes it from other things, A tree, masalan, tall tree, or other adjectives that you can add. A noun that describes or qualifies another noun is called naat. Simple as that. So there's a noun, for example, rajul. Now there's another noun which is qualifying it or describing this first noun. That's a naat. Rajulun karimun. The man is noble, right? Or rajulun sakhiyun. The man is generous. Anything that describes becomes naat. That which is describing becomes man'ut or mawsuf, however you want to call upon it. The noun being described or called qualified is called man'ut. Tall man is something, because you're using in English, right? It's the same thing. You don't say in English, man tall. But as you'll translate that as tall man. The tall being of this man, the tall aspect of this man is the adjective of this man. Yeah. But that's how you describe it in English. In English, the adjective comes first, then the noun comes. In Arabic, noun comes first, then you explain and describe it. That's the difference. So you're right. Urdu mein kaise hota hai? How do you do it in Urdu? Lamba admi. Right? So you describe him first and then you Farsi name chitorias. Masalan, how do you say tall man in Farsi? Same thing. No. So it's like Arabic. Mard is rajul, buland is tall. So you got the noun and then you're describing it. In English you have tall man. You don't have man tall. You have the other way around. So Farsi is closer to Arabic. Okay, you can also say it in the other way as well. So you can say it other ways as well. But that's how it is in Arabic. Usually the case is that you have man'ut and then you have the na'at. So baytun is your man'ut, mawsuf. Jadidun is the describing, you're describing that bayt, which is the new house or a new house. But in Arabic, in English, you won't say a house new. You say a new house, right? So mawsuf, man'ut is also called mawsuf, which is the noun qualified. Naat is also called a sifa, adjective, which is naat or sifa. In Arabic, naat comes after man'ut. In English, adjective comes before the noun that qualifies. So we already discussed that. Also, the next slide will mention the gender specification between naat and man'ut. What do you think? Well, you say a tall girl, a tall boy. You don't change anything with tall. Tall is tall. There's no change when it comes to the sifa. The adjective is the same for both genders. But in Arabic, you will have to match gender-based. You'll have to add ta marbuta, however that noun is described. So, naat and man'ut should be in agreement in the following. Gender-wise, so you say, هذه bintun saghiratun. This is a small girl. هذا waladun saghirun. They should also be in compliance when it comes to definite and indefinite. So if I say bintun, I just say saghiratun. Bintun was, a common noun, right? A girl. So I said saghiratun. But it was the girl, that will be al, right? So therefore, this new teacher is in the class. Al-mudarrisul jadidu. Al-mudarris is man'ut. So you're going to use al-jadid with alif lam on top of it. We don't have to worry about fil fasli. That's just, just to complete the sentence. We're just focused on al-mudarrisul jadidu. That's the only thing we're focusing on. Bilal is what? Is a new teacher. Mudarrisun jadidun. So mudarris is because it's the man'ut, it's definite, or rather indefinite. Jadid is also indefinite. They should also match when it comes to their case. Case means what? If they're nominative, if they're genitive, if they're accusative, fatha, dhamma, kasra, Zair, Zabar, Pesh, they should also be in conformity. So ana, fi, now fi does what? Fi is jar majroor, right? It demands the word that comes after the word fi to be what? Dragged. This was in the previous lesson. So whenever you have fi, ala, min, ala, ila, an, all of these prepositions, what do they demand? The noun that comes afterwards should be kasrah, should be broken. So fi is going to make bait, baitin. Ana fi baitin. Now I want to describe this bait, that it is a new house. So I'm going to say ana fi baitin jadidin. I'm not going to say jadidun, because it is describing the house which is already in the genitive case, that it is already having a kasra. And as far as the number is concerned, so when you're speaking of one student, you're going to say talibun jadidun. But when you're speaking of all the students, you're going to say tullabun jududun. Judud is the plural for jadid. The 4 places, gender, common, definite, indefinite, case, and number, all of these areas, the naat and the man'ut must be in sync together. I think there's a lot to absorb for today, so we'll stop over here, not going any further. What was next? Yeah, they're more about nominal sentence, and inshallah we'll repeat this part with the next slide. No, al is making it definite. Yeah. Bilal is already definite because it's a proper name of a person. Now you say Bilal is the teacher. No. Yeah. So Bilal is the new teacher. Or you can say Bilal is a new teacher. However you want to say it. If you say Bilalun mudarrisun jadidun, or you can say Bilalun al-mudarrisul jadidu. Both will be correct. Yeah. So that's why we're not focusing on Bilal part of it. That's why I said don't focus on fil fasle or the first or the later part of it. Just focus on the naat and the man'ut part, because that's how you're going to be able to follow them. All right. We'll stop over here. And inshallah, we'll pick up next week from where we left off. Okay. Okay, I'll leave it in my office. Inshallah. Thank you. Okay. Very well. Yes. This is going live, by the way. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.